Hello.
Right, good afternoon. And the lovely little mic works, excellent.
Everyone's very far away.
I know.
I'm not going to ask anyone to move closer, but...
Yeah, exactly. It's to give us a wide berth. We're big personalities, so thank you for that. So we hope you're enjoying the day today. We're obviously Rachel and Nathan, as you can see from the slide. And what you're going to see is a bit of an extension from the content of which you saw in the keynote earlier. But obviously, before we get into it, as I'm thinking about AI and all of the fantastic presentations that we had earlier today, a thought came to me around how we need to maintain some of this human creativity in our work. We can't always rely on AI output. And so to that end, I've prepared a poem, and you'll know that it is human enough because it's just bang average enough that no AI could have produced it. So without further ado, your data holds the story of your customer. In the billions of taps, page views, and gaps, the full narrative of customer intent is laid bare. Apparent are their needs, their motives, yielding the ultimate why hidden there. But are you really collecting the right data and acting on it properly later? Or are you just collecting another disconnected chapter, hoping the why will magically reveal itself after? As we now jump into what it takes to be an experienced sleuth, remember, Contentsquare is here to give you the ocular proof. Thank you. And I've always grown up liking rhymes. You can blame Dr. Seuss, you can blame Shakespeare, big idol of mine, and that last little line, a quick Othello nod there. So you can hear them both rolling over in their graves as I went through that. But anyway, we're happy.
All of your influences.
All of my influences. So, fortunately, I left the art inspiration. That is not of mine. I left my finger paints out of the presentation and relied on my friend Gemini for this presentation.
Yes. I think we can agree that there is definitely an over-reliance on Gemini for this presentation.
Oh, you have no idea, Rachel. No idea.
All right. Thank you. So, what are the typical challenges that we see when you're trying to put together your amazing data set and do analytics? Well, one of them we like to call the leaky pipe. So this is where you don't have all the data that you need for various reasons. Maybe that it's hard to collect it. Maybe some of it's stuck inside of a mobile app. Maybe you don't even know that you have it. And so the impact of this, of course, is that you can't answer the questions that you want to answer. It takes a lot longer to be able to answer the questions you want to answer, and it just wastes time. All right, so the next, is that pipe leaking flame, by the way? Lava?
Yes.
Okay.
That was my creative input. Gemini, I need leaking flames.
Okay, all right. That's a very strong pipe leaking magma. Okay, so the second data problem that we see a lot is what we're calling the flat phonograph. And the idea behind this one is that your data is giving you a very one-dimensional view of what's happening. So it could be that you just get a snapshot, or you see a journey, but not the context of what the user is viewing when they're on this journey. And so the impact of this is that you know what happened. You maybe have some metrics that tell you, hey, there's a drop-off point here, but you can't really tell why it happened. And if you don't know why it happened, it's very hard to act on it. And then the third typical problem that we see, we're calling the futuristic locked fortress. I have no idea what that looks like. But so this one is when you have siloed data sets, for instance, or your data is locked away in a system that is hard to get at. And so what this means is that you can't put different data sets together that might work well together to give you better answers. It means you can't give access to all the people in the organization that would like to have this data. And you, again, can't figure out what to do. So we have a survey for you. Hopefully everyone is still wearing your handy dandy white bracelets or have them with you. And the question we have is, which of these problems affects your business the most? The leaky pipe, so you don't have all the data you need. the flat phonograph, you don't have the right context in the data, or the locked fortress, it's very hard to get access to the right people.
For those of you that do the bands, let's raise them up. Let's see. Okay, we see a little...
That is a mix.
It's a mix, and I'm surprised how many people still have their bands as well, which is...
Yeah. Maybe a few more greens than anything else, but pretty much like a mix.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about all these things, and we're going to talk about some of the things, obviously, we've launched recently and how they address those problems. And the problems being, or the solutions being that you need to be able to easily collect all the data that you need, serving all the teams with all of their use cases. Then the second thing is being able to contextualize the data appropriately, so you know what it's telling you and what to do about it. And then the third one is being able to automate and act on the data, so make sure the access and accessibility of the data is very easy, and that you can actually make use of it. And with that, I think I'm handing it over to Nathan to talk about collecting the data.
I love this little baton handoff. We're doing the 400-meter.
We haven't dropped it yet, so.
No, not yet. Awesome. So collect. So talking about that first problem set, we need to make sure we have the right data set. So first of all, the importance of good data capture, because as we know, any output is only as good as the input. And that's a PG take on another way of saying that, of bad in, bad out. But teams need to be agile. And in order to be agile, we need to have a comprehensive data set. We believe every interaction needs to be collected. That allows us to ask new questions on past data, and it also allows us to spend less time on tagging and on setup, trying to preempt questions that we may have in the future. So, ability of this to combine with manual events for when we do have some of those events that are really important that we want to track. But importantly, over the years, this has led us to invest in Smart Capture, which is automatically capturing all the data on the website or mobile app. And I mentioned mobile app because I'm very excited to announce, as you saw, I'm re-announcing it, you already saw it on stage, the crown jewel of SwiftUI.
Sorry, I stole your thunder.
I know, I was so excited. So I look after the mobile product team.
This is Nathan's product.
Our team has been slaving away on this feature, and then Rachel just gets to go on up there.
I took all the glory.
Exactly. And so with SwiftUI, we're happy to say we have the widest framework support for autocapture on the market. And so with this brand new release of SwiftUI, and what is so important about SwiftUI, at least 70% of new mobile apps today have at least some portion of the code written in SwiftUI. I guarantee a large portion of members in this room that have a mobile app on iOS will be leveraging some form of SwiftUI. And Apple has made an active vendetta against analytics companies from trying to easily collect information. So, which is why this is such a special feature to us, because we've been working on this for months and months and months. So no longer do development teams require manual tagging to define these events, but rather we're going to pick them up automatically. And so let me show you very quickly what that looks like. I'm going to hit this a couple times.
And this is a pretty unique capability in the market, too.
It is. Lovely. So we've got our test iOS app on the left written in SwiftUI, so a little global bank. You can see the live data feed for our product analytics on the right-hand side. Straight away, you can see the pages and you can see the sign-on screen events coming in automatically. So critical that every single interaction, as you can see, not just the sign-in page screen, but the touch on the text field. You can see us editing the text field. You can see us toggling the remember me. You can even see the text for remember me coming in. Every single one of these events is going to be automatically captured by our technology. And this is in stark contrast to, you wouldn't believe how many conversations I have with mobile apps customers when I ask them, so what does your reporting look like in Adobe Analytics on iOS? And the reports are just filled with zeros. They have absolutely nothing, right? So the bar is very low, but we want to make sure that we capture absolutely everything we can. So as we're transitioning through screens, as we're going through some of these different view controllers or tapping on all the buttons, we can go ahead and get these events. And then very importantly, we can use these events to define any type of analysis. So if it were this button, the dispute button, not a great button that we want users interacting with, but we can easily set an event, set a report, and get overtime information, use it in a funnel, create segments, whatever else. So really powerful auto capture that we're very happy to announce is finally available in SwiftUI. So, along with SwiftUI, keeping on the theme of making sure we have the best data collection possible, we've had a huge number of our customers leveraging Shopify. Shopify has recently moved to a brand new checkout type, which essentially, following a common theme with Apple, made it very difficult for third-party vendors such as ourselves to collect information. Happy to share that my GIF is not playing, which is a very unfortunate shame, but happy to share that we do collect session replays for Shopify checkouts now. So fantastic capability for our customers to be able to see what is happening in those Shopify checkouts, and soon to come, the remaining analytics data as we continue to build out our Shopify capabilities here. So, two very, very important releases on the collect side. And so with the power of the broadest smart capture on the market on all these frameworks and the brand new Shopify support, that leaky pipe of molten lava begins to look a lot like a reservoir of customer knowledge pumping through insights ready for us to tap into at a moment's notice. And I think that's very, very appropriate for the SwiftUI auto capture capability in particular. No joke about my beautiful AI.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a reservoir. I mean, see the water.
It looks like it has those like rhythm gymnastics things, ribbons in it.
That reference will continue to live in your head. For
Yeah.
me, it looks like the Matrix, but that's okay. Okay, so moving on.
Anyone else? Ideas of what that was? No? Okay.
Nervous chuckles. No one wants to be picked on. Cool, contextualize. So heading into chapter 2, we have all this lovely data, but how do we make sure it's useful in answering real business questions? What I'm going to focus on here is something called identity and being able to understand customers and customer journeys across lifetimes. Identity is capability, and it's an API where we are able to collect some form of an identifier for the session. This could be an account ID, a device ID, local ID, etc. And with this ID, we can go ahead and connect distinct sessions that a user may have taken. Importantly, what we also do is we apply this retroactively. So if you imagine the struggle in characterizing an anonymous user coming to your site to sign up, and then maybe they leave. They come back on the same device the next day to sign up. So many analytics platforms treat those two sessions differently. With identity, we apply it retroactively. Provided they logged onto the same device, we'll go back and apply it to that anonymous session. So we're able to link the users that came to the site or the mobile app anonymously, went on to sign up, and we can connect it through to that same ID. And so what that looks like, for example here, we may have a banking interface, so a user has gone, they've eventually moved on from being an anonymous customer to a very real customer here. They're adding a savings and checking account. Apparently all you need to do is add first and last name, and suddenly, boom, you're a checking customer. Account is activated. That is awesome security in our demo environment. But looking at the funnel, if you treat those as two different sessions, you may look at this conversion rate, 2.1% of going from that main banking view, anonymous customers, et cetera, through to checkout, 2%. What we're able to do is switch from a session funnel to a user funnel using the identities. And with that, we're able to get a real accurate conversion rate across the lifetime of our customers. So we're actually able to see that that conversion rate is closer to 6.2% in this funnel. But it's just that users are completing that action in a later session at a later time. So we believe adding this context is incredibly valuable and unlocks a lot of different analysis opportunities here. Lovely. So that was identity. The other quick piece I'll talk about here is also generating page groups. So as you sort of saw before with Vijay talking about mappings, anyone in this room that has previously created, edited, or touched a mapping, I apologize, but don't worry, you'll be having a far easier experience moving forward with Sense Assistant. And with that, what we're going to be providing here is essentially zero-click analytics on the setup. So that mass of automatic page views and information that we're capturing, we or me as a user, I may not know that Contentsquare is picking up page type, page variety, page category, all this extra information about the page, and it's very difficult for me to then go and make the right page groups. With Sense, it does all of this automatically. So the benefit here is as we get in, as Vijay mentioned earlier, All customers, all new customers as well, are going to have default mappings and groupings of their site in order to start out with. But as you can see here, I began to use the Sense Assistant. I want to make a new mapping, a new grouping. Grouping, I think I said homepage, listing pages, product details pages, checkout, and account. So pretty basic, but I can specify the types of pages that I'm interested in analyzing. What it's going to go and do is look at not just the URL information, but any type of data layer information that we're capturing automatically about the pages to automatically create that mapping, which I can now use for all of my analysis. So we see Sense as having massive, massive opportunities in order to make the lives of our customers a lot easier, which we're already putting in a place like mapping, so again, add context to those page groups and page information that we're capturing on the web. So between contextualizing data with the Identity API and the AI Mapping Assistant, that flat photograph begins to look a lot like a diorama of the customer's story. And with that diorama, we have 3D context, we have sound, we have imagery. It just looks fantastic. I mean, it really does. And so we can begin to, again, this is the importance of not just looking at the data at face value, but making sure it's playing with other components of data in your ecosystem and beginning to connect some of the dots. So now that we've resolve some of the leaky pipeline, we've got this lovely diorama of what's happening with the customer story. Rachel, would you care to walk us through how we can go from there?
Sure. All right, so let's talk about the automation and action. So there's a number of things that, some of which we talked about this morning, that we have now available in the product. One is making Contentsquare data available in your warehouse. So we talked about that. It's called Data Connect. And so you can very easily sync your behavioral performance and error data into your warehouse. These are all the warehouses that we support. I think we have them all. And there's a lot of use cases that we've seen customers use with it. So an example is like you can kick off marketing automation from that data. You can use it to do exec reporting. You can use it to marry up disparate data sets. So an example is, let's say you're making product improvements to see if you can reduce the incidence of support problems. Well, you might want to marry up that data together, say in your data warehouse. So there's all sorts of things that you can do when you have the data in your central warehouse. And so we have the video here to show it. And we did show it this morning, but I'll just show again how easy it is to set this up. So you can choose the data warehouse that you are working with, and it really does not take much time to basically set it up to sync the data. This data sync is in organized tables. So unlike a lot of the other ways that tools will send data to the data warehouse, it's in a shape that makes sense, so you know what the data is that you're sending there. And you can choose what types of data you want to send and not want to send really easily. So typically when we're working with data teams, they love this capability because first of all, if a data team is trying to do some analysis, the autocapture means they have all the data that they need, right? It's a huge set of data they can work with. And the connect means it's in their control to take whatever data they need and put it into the warehouse organized in the way that they want to use it. All right. The other thing we talked about a bit earlier today is making it easier to analyze your A/B tests. And so we talked a bit, and so this shows it a bit better though, how easy it is to basically choose your A/B test and set up the dashboard. And so you can do this in terms of both creating a dashboard, so like this one you see here, and also do it in terms of creating a zoning, right? So two different ways to analyze your A/B tests that are very easy to set up now. And so you basically just choose your variance and you choose your control, and it automatically sets all of this up for you very easily. And then I think the next slide shows the zoning version of this. Again, with the video. Maybe one more time. Okay, now it's gone. So same thing here. You can automatically set up your A/B test analysis in the context of a zoning comparison. So you can choose your page, you can choose the test you want to analyze, and it sets it up for you. Should I keep playing this?
It'll
I'll give it a
flash
second.
Zoning. It'll give it a second.
Okay, we'll give it a second.
Oh, there we go. Zoning loads. Fantastic.
Yes.
This is where we need our CTO up here so we can be like, hey, platform load times, mate. Like, come on, we need to keep working on them.
There will be pictures that
it's
show
doing
up.
a lot in the background. Don't worry. But
yes.
And I'll take a quick note on this. This used to take ages, creating all the segments, picking the right dynamic variables, getting the right backgrounds, and so now it does that automatically, which is really, really cool.
Yep. All right. So the other thing that we talked about a bit this morning is not only can you send Contentsquare data to the data warehouse, but now that we have a Contentsquare agent, so Sense Analyst, you can send data or essentially allow that analyst to talk to other agents. And so the protocol that is used to do this is called MCP. And so we have this MCP capability. So if you have an agent, and so if you remember earlier today, I talked a bit about a core, setting up an agent within Figma so that it can automatically pull in data from other tools. So they did that with Data Connect, but now that we have this capability, they could do that with MCP and get those recommendations directly from the agent and a lot of the context from the agent about what variants we should try, what A/B tests we should run, what recommendations that we have. So this really opens up a lot of capabilities. It also opens up the capability. So once, like Slack, for instance, supports MCP protocol, then you could just query Contentsquare from Slack and say, hey, like, tell me about what changes I should make to my website today, or tell me how performance is doing today. So it makes it much easier for people to work wherever they are and use the data from within Contentsquare in whatever place that they want to be.
Will it work for image generation, for presentations?
I mean, I don't think that's going to be our cup of tea.
I don't know. I think there's a future there. I think I'll be the first beta tester if it is coming out. Don't worry.
Okay. All right. So with those capabilities, it basically means that you can unlock this fortress. So you can send your data to Connect. You can send agent data to other agents. You can do these instant analyses so much easier. And so the locked fortress, I can't wait to see this, begins to look a lot like.
Ooh. Ah.
Okay, an integrated it looks like an alien spaceship. Or okay, the Minority Report.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's a good one.
It's a bit of Minority Report, which is good. Okay. You're gonna bring it home?
Sure, I'll bring it home. Last bracelet showdown, please. This is the last I'll ask of you to use those little bracelets that some of you may still have. So which of these is most important to you? Seeing all the capabilities, seeing all the feature sets that we've talked about. Red, having a reservoir of knowledge, having all that auto-captured data. Blue, customer diorama, making sure there's context with the data. Or green, making sure your data is exportable. Raise the bracelets up once you figure out how to use them. I know they're finicky little things. All right, I see some greens, I see some blues, some reds. Oh, we've got a lovely little split again. That's fantastic.
Okay, yep, no clear signal. Yeah. That's all right, we're doing all of it, so it's fine.
If it would have been a sea of blue, I'd be like, all right, our roadmap is going to be blue. All right, seems we're going to continue doing a bit of everything, so that's great. Cool, and that's all the content we have for you today, so we're happy to take any questions if you would have them.
Just curious,
Yep.
SwiftUI and Shopify, you're kind of are you going around them, or are you working directly with Apple and Shopify? How's that? What's the likely roadmap that this capability remains?
Yep, so Shopify, it's working directly with them. So they've got a formalized sort of app versioning of how they want you to interact with their data. With Apple, it is always interesting, I will say. Apple, they It's not done directly with Apple. It basically uses some proxy mechanisms for the ways that they render, the way that they change states, etc. We've already seen it change multiple times, even over the duration of us being as a company. We've supported session replay on iOS for the last 6 years, and I'd say in those 6 years, we've had to, let's say, majorly change how we capture replay, probably 3 substantial times. So we're ready for change. It's something that is always going to happen. Liquid glass, you would not believe the amount of development effort that we had to put into sports session replay for liquid glass. So it just comes with the territory with Apple, honestly. So it's here to stay, don't worry.
On the Data Connect, just as examples, Snowflake that you had, are there column names that match CS column names? Is that kind of how you unify those? Like, you talked about identifying users, having like a unique identifier. Would you have that unique identifier coming from that context coming from the Data Connect over into Contentsquare?
Okay, so there's a question. I'll just repeat the question, so I don't know if everyone can hear, but a question about how the table names work in Data Connect, and then also a question about identity and which way that goes. Let me do the second one first, which is the way identity works is it comes from the customer, right? So it's, and there's an API that it gets sent in with. And so now if you want to then send the data from the product into the data warehouse, you can send that with it too. But the origin of that identifier comes from you, or from the customer. But what it does is it allows us then to, as Nathan says, map up all the session data that we've gotten. So like one of the other use cases that's a really popular use case is understanding the complete customer journey across devices. Right, so imagine that you have a user that at some point was not logged in and then was logged into the web, separately was not logged in and was logged in to a mobile device. Well, if you have this identity API working, then we would map that entire customer journey, and we know all of those sessions belong to the same user. On the Connect one, I don't know the answer. Do you?
Yeah, we'll get back to you.
Yeah. And we have a mic there if you want it too.
Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you. Regarding the Data Connect, you mentioned that the data is shared via tables. It's like a regular table, or can you export that in a JSON format?
So by tables, I guess I meant that we don't just send the raw data into Connect, it's organized. And so it does create multiple tables that are organized within your data warehouse. I don't know if that answers the question or not, though.
Do you use JSON or
I don't know what the protocol is.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
the best people to ask for it is the demo booths right at the beginning in the main hall. No, any one of those guys that are out there like demoing the platform, they work with Data Connect pretty frequently there. Yep. Any other questions? One brave soul.
Another question?
Sure.
Yeah, go again.
About availability of these features, like a timeline for, say, the data connector and also the mobile auto capture, those two in particular. When would they become available for us to start
They're
using?
both available now.
Yep.
So the Data Connect, I think GA'd mid-August, mid to late August.
Yep.
And then we had a pretty extensive beta period, and so we have a number of customers using it already, which is great. And then the other thing is that there's a self-service trial. As you saw, you can set up self-service. So there's a self-service trial in the product. So anyone can actually go in and turn it on, and you can have like a trial for up to 3 months. So.
Yep.
And then the mobile one, you can just deploy it.
It's part of our basic SDKs. Any mobile app conversation that you might have with our team, yeah, it's part of the conversation baked in.
Yep.
Fresh off the product presses.
Yep.
Awesome. So the timer just hit 000, so that was beautifully rehearsed to be perfectly on time. But we thank you so much for the time. We hope you're enjoying the event, and otherwise do continue enjoying the day. Thank you very much.